Evie Lavelle, owner and curator of the Little Hollow Living History Museum. When the pandemic forced us to delay our grand opening, we pivoted to an experiential online tour, and this is it. So welcome one and all. I hope you experience the experience. Living History incorporates historical performance to help our visitors travel back in time. The stories of Little Hollow will amaze and dazzle, terrify and astonish. I'm so glad that you're here on the internet to see it brought to life. Our first internet exhibit is the extraordinary account of one of our earliest tragedies. On the night of September 12th in the year 1900, the town, then called Old Hollow, was the site of a horrific tragedy. That night, for reasons hitherto unknown, nearly half the residents of Little Hollow drowned. The area was prone to flooding. The Hollow flooded in 1834, 1851, 1867, 1886, 1901, 1902, and 1903. But in the year 1900, no traditional flood took place. Instead, the citizens of Old Hollow ran to the edge of the nearby lake and threw themselves into the water. And no one could explain this deadly impulse to submergement. Doctors at the time called it inexplicable water fits. History called it the Great Dry Flood. Now, the Great Dry Flood was the first of many baffling misfortunes and unexplained accidents, horrible misadventures, calamities, and mysterious tragedies that befell the town in its long history. And for years, the circumstances of these peculiar drownings were a mystery. Until now. We have recently discovered the diaries of Owen Kitchen, who, along with his wife Cordelia, survived that fateful night. Here, in his own words, Owen Kitchen details the gruesome events. Reading from the diaries of Owen Kitchen is local historian and friend of the museum, Dale Vincent.
Good evening. I am Owen Kitchen.
Dale, what are you wearing?
I am Owen Kitchen. Your teleconferencing technology is strange to me.
Are you doing like a Dracula voice?
No. I thought this would sort of because we had to do it all on Zoom. I'm trying to make it more like exciting instead of just reading from the book. Can I like do it like I practiced, and then maybe you can give me notes?
Yeah.
It was a clear night in September that I, Owen Kitchen, and my sweet Cordelia snuck away to the water. Cordelia and I were in love, true and chaste, and not yet wed. We were counting the days until spring, but the counting had gone on too long. So long, so very, very long. And our passion was burning hot, so very, very hot. Though my love and I were not yet joined, such burning passion could not wait for churchly blessed union. And so we that night did fly to our seclusion to embrace one another and discover our horizontal refreshment beneath the stars above. Little did we know what horrible consequences our lust should contrive. I lay upon her, and she upon me, and I upon her, and then she upon me, and then I upon her again, turning over and over like knuckle-bone jacks as we gave each other the green gown. As I lay upon her, her eyes did catch the sky, and a gasp emanated from her lips. Thinking it was my ministrations and not some celestial terror, I continued my love expedition, and she soon stopped me by proclaiming, "Owen, the sky." But I did not want to stop our Dutch treatments, and so continued on until she proclaimed again, "The sky!" I looked up, and behold, a truly impossible sign. The very stars themselves were ripping across the sky, hurling themselves towards the earth, a rainstorm of stars. Our Venusian dance had brung about Armageddon. We were not the only people who saw the sky. Shouts from the townsfolk, yelling, yapping, mawing, moving closer and closer to where we did lie. We disembroiled and recovered our glories, quickly pulling grass and tangleweeds from our matted hair. Suddenly, there were voices, overlarge in number. "Judgment is upon us," a frightened voice uttered. The townsfolk believed at the top of their lungs the sins of their fellows did carry this starry judgment. Suddenly they were upon us. We were found out here by the water, sinning and sinning and sinning for all to see. Our shameful urges brought the heavens down on our heads. The townsfolk were upon us, quickly rushing hither, frantic and screaming, "All who have sinned must cleanse in the river." Wife of the deacon, Miss Therapin, shouted, "This harlot has sinned. Before marriage she mounted." She grabbed hold of my Cordelia and threw her without care. Into the river she went, my beloved love, in the water, gasping for air.
Dale, I'm gonna need to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Dale, did you rewrite this first-person historical document?
No. Well, our artistic license.
Did you make it rhyme?
I actually worked really hard on this, and I think it's going sort of okay. Could you just save the notes till the end? No, my sweet Cordelia has been thrown into the lake. These mad townsfolk, these brainwashed villagers, this collie western mob took hold of my beloved and tossed her like a sack into the water. I shouted to them, "You bewitched fools! That's my beloved you've thrown." Miss Therapin lunged at me, "You two must atone!" But the wretched gargoyle missed and went straight into the water. Her husband leaped in, but the little man could not haul her. "Let go," we all shouted, but she screeched, "Don't you dare!" And Mrs. Therapin and her husband were both now underwater and gasping for air. Trapped in the water, she fought and she thrashed, and the stars continued to fall with a whoosh and a crash. "There are still sinners among us," the townsfolk all shouted. "They must cleanse in the water, or our faith will be doubted." And Cordelia, where was Cordelia? I tried to see through the clotters, but sweet Cordelia was pushed deeper and deeper under the waters. I looked into the water for any sight of my bride, but the townsfolk were upon me and threw me aside. I tried to fight my way through the fleshy congestion, when suddenly there came an onslaught of sordid confession. "I steal from my neighbor," said Mrs. O'Nap. "The butcher said our new mutton was actually old rat." "I poisoned my wife," confessed Mr. Bloom. Old maid Neely screamed out, "I have carnal knowledge of this very broom." "The hell with your broom," said the foreman, Mr. Fig. "I've laid not once but twice with McAllister's pig." "God forgive us all," yelled the mason, Mr. Trotter. And with that, they all leaped into the cold, rushing water. I stood there alone, in overwhelming despair. My sweet Cordelia lost under half the town, all drowning and gasping for air. I prayed on my knees that mercy be given, while they clamored and thrashed, waiting on faith to save them. But faith was too slow. Current was quicker. While the gasping stopped, the souls finally trapped in the river. I sat and I sobbed anguish right there on the shore, knowing I would see my beloved Cordelia nevermore. When suddenly I heard it. A gasping, a sudden gasping of air. And I looked, and there was Cordelia pulling herself up by old Mr. Bloom's hair. My sweet Cordelia was alive. Alive, alive, alive. She was so far from the shore. Shit. Come to me, my love. Follow my voice and find lover's true embrace. She climbed on top of the body and then moved to the next, suddenly striding across old saggy necks, over heads and fingers and legs and toes, across arms and knees and Mrs. Therapin's bones. I pulled her to me and we embraced on the shore, carrying each other free from the depths and pledging a life together forevermore. I took her hand in mine, and mine she did take. And whatever heavy sins we once carried, we left behind in that lake. Odelia and Owen were married that year and left Old Hollow forever, leaving behind only this diary and the extraordinary story of the night they survived the great dry flood. We now know the stars falling from the sky that night were simply a meteor shower. But the townsfolk of Old Hollow saw it as something so much more. In this small valley town, we see whatever you can't let go of is the thing that drowns you.
That was very nice.
Thanks.
It was.